Normally, I talk about positivity on this channel. It's still positivity we're gonna talk about, but today is a highly requested video about my experience in medical school.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
How I survived medical school and how I was able to get 90s in medical school. My experience could be of help to people who are looking to go into medical school and maybe get some tips because I'm done. I'm done in that school. Although studying continues forever. But medical school is the first thing I'm gonna talk about is me really having friends. Will I call it loneliness? To me, I didn't take it to mean loneliness. I more felt fulfilled because, of course, I was studying something that I enjoy doing, and studying every bit of the textbook or my notebooks gave me joy and happiness. So I didn't care about like seeking friendship if it doesn't even really mean anything. I value friendships, but as long as it's valuable, if you understand what I mean. If it's something that is just a waste of time and just to go out, see, I rarely even had a social life. That's number two. Rarely had a social life, social connection, even sometimes with family. Like a lot of things suffer. You have this emotional type of dissociation from the rest of the world and you're focused in your own living, and sometimes you do sleepless nights. But how to do less of sleepless nights, which will be my number 3 point how I survive, is learning a lot from the professors or lecturers. Make sure you learn in class a lot, because I don't know about any other person, but in my medical school, professor might be teaching you 3 4 chapters at least 2 chapters of different textbooks in 2 hours. Imagine if you had to do that by yourself, all those research by yourself, trying to understand everything by yourself. Best believe 10 hours, 24 hours, not even 48 to 72 hours will be enough to finish. Let's even assume 72 hours it takes you to finish, but you've wasted a lot of time, and every day is a different and new materials. Some people go over it, and that's where they ask a lot of questions, which is my next point, which is answer a lot of questions, because that's how you know that you understand the material. When the professors ask questions, be able to answer. You must not know every single thing in the book, but make an effort. They are definitely going to see that effort you put in and recognize you, and even like see you as a good student. But that's not even the main case. To even be seen as a good student, you need to be in your good books too. um Things happen, mistakes happen, but sometimes based on the kind of person you are, they wouldn't expect that. Maybe if God forbid failure happens, they wouldn't expect you to fail, or they may question like and ask questions and why did this happen, or if it's a bad experience or something like that. It's hard for them to quickly want to fail you if you're participating a lot in the class work projects and things like that. Also, on students part, on my part, ask a lot of questions, and I try to have attendance of at least, let me say, 95%. If I miss a day of class, I am so torn apart, because I don't know how I'm gonna get that back, because my notes is always the best. I believe that the notes I take in class is better than any other person's note that I could borrow. If anything happens, I try my best to not miss a class, and that's if you're looking at 90s though, because I do a lot while in that class, and like I said, they do a lot too in that one class. In 2 hours, how many chapters would have been covered? The next day you resume class is a new different many chapters, and sometimes you need to understand the previous chapters to learn the new ones. But sometimes in medicine, it's not always going to be like that. That you need to understand this. You may like one and don't like the next chapter, and you still understand things. But there's some things that are very basic and fundamental, and you need to connect the dots. So you'll be very confused if you skip classes. that's that's how I'm gonna put it. So don't skip classes. Don't even joke about it. I wouldn't say I didn't skip class at all, because there's sometimes that you don't feel good and things you need to take that break. I believe in recuperating after everything. That's another thing that was very helpful. I am positive about everything. You need to really enjoy it, because if you do not enjoy what you're studying, you will see it as too much work, and it will take more time for anything to even go into the brain, because you're not even excited about it. You see it as too much work. So first of all, you need to like keep that positive energy, be happy that you're gonna learn something new. I mean, that was the attitude that I had, that I'm happy. Oh, okay, there's something new coming today, so I'm gonna learn something new. I believe that sometimes it's okay to learn things before the professor comes in, which is a good practice. But me, I do not even bother my head, because I'm telling you, it's already a lot. And when it's holiday time, I'm telling you, I do not touch a book. I do not touch my medical books. Holidays to rest my brain for the next semester. Very few times I do try to read the material. Actually, maybe you need to learn what kind of professors you have. When some professors, like, you can hardly understand what they're saying, and maybe when you read the materials, it makes you better understand it. But majority of the times, I just wait for whatever the teacher puts in my brain. And the most important thing is the things they're putting in your brain, make sure you know it well. To the extent that I knew my material so well that if there was ever an exam that we had and there was something that was not said or anything, I could picture it and actually complain about it. That's because I knew my stuff and I knew what I was being taught. If I didn't know that, then I could not even complain that these questions or this answer was not compatible with this, and you gave us something that was wrong. That would have just been a lost point for something that was not actually my fault, and maybe the teacher's error or mistake. So it only comes from knowing the material. Another point is doing a lot of past questions, MCQs. I mean, learn what curriculum your school follows. My school followed the USMLE standard. So use different textbook. You make sure first aid too is important in helping you, but I rarely even used it. It was even during towards the end when preparing for USMLE proper. That's when I really even got into first aid like that. But even within my school, I saw a lot of people using first aid, but it's whatever works for whoever. And another very important point is teach other people. I got to the point of teaching my other colleagues, because whatever you know, you teach to people, you know more about it. So don't keep whatever you know to yourself. Always try and like share that information. There's nothing about I want to be the best, although some people still thought that I was in it for competition, but to be honest, I wasn't even caring if anybody scored this point or that point. The only competition I had was myself. If I did something that was wrong, I always want to know what I did wrong, what I could improve, what could be better. So sometimes when I even top the class, comments could be like, she thinks she knows too much, she thinks she knows a lot. Please don't be bullied to doing what is best for you, because if you keep listening to what outside opinion, I'm telling you, it will be detrimental to your future, your health, and your study. And the most important thing, you need to know what kind of friends you have too. And you don't, even if you end up having friends that you think are not valuable to you, just learn to say no when things are happening or they want to go for that and you're not interested and you just want to study. Again, I'm not saying study. Of course, I play it too, but my form of playing is like maybe watch movies or play games. That's my form of game. But sometimes I may be really, really stressed and I just I'm going to the beach. Another important point too is I studied the most difficult ones first before the simpler ones. When I see something is too complex, that's the one I really like spend time on, because of course the simpler ones, they're easier and it's more easier to understand because it's too many materials to cover, right? So if you learn the other ones, and even if last minute you get to quickly read over the simpler ones, it's easier to put that in your head than if you're trying to study on new material last minute. So that's it. And sometimes you're gonna do all night, but most times I try not to do all night because you don't want to be so stressed. I want to be fresh and new whenever I go for my exams. I don't want to be stressed thinking I didn't sleep the night so I can focus. Um, what else did I do? Yeah, I make sure that most of the courses that I got 90s in, I study like bit by bit. I mean, that's the best way. Like every day you come back, even if it's your break time, lunch break or whatever, just quickly pick that material and study. I'm telling you, you're gonna need less time in the end because it's gonna be too many materials. By the end, when it's time for exam, it's too many. But when you do bit by bit, you understand it. You just know you just have to do some revision, and that's it. And the thing is too, you can always like talk to teachers personally, like if you don't understand something in class. But I think I really had that issue that to the extent that I needed to seek personal. But sometimes I do ask, few times, because like I said, I spend the most important time in class trying to ask all the questions, and I'm not that student that you come in class and you want to rush the material. No, it's not gonna happen. I need to take in everything I need to learn from that professor. You don't come in and try to rush. Please, no. You can be fast, but still let me understand. So I made sure that I understood every single thing, at least 90% of the things before leaving classes for that day. And my notes are very detailed. It's so bad that almost word for word I had what the teacher says. If there is a diagram, I draw exactly what the teacher draws on the board. I'm not the best artist, but I try to copy exactly what I see on the board. And I put that in my skull, in my brain. Sometimes even in medical school, it's cramping. Something's like microbiology. Why you have to know all those microorganisms, or pharmacology, why you need to know all those drugs. At the end of the day, you need some cramming to do. But for the most part, you need to understand. Understanding is key. When you understand a key concept, in fact, it may help you in knowing other subjects better, because some of the things in medicine, or many things are just connected. What you study in anatomy can be helpful. If you know what organ system you're talking about, then you can understand the physiology better. Or you knowing the anatomy of something in the background, now you can understand neuroscience, the brain and all that. Like it's all interconnected. Or for example, you understand immunology and how the immune system works, then it makes it easier for you to understand microbiology, while how it's fighting infections and things like that. But man, microbiology is plenty, pharmacology is plenty, um so many things are plenty, but you just have to get that time, manage your time well. I mean, you don't have to stress yourself. I see a lot of people in medical school, so is war. I come here to fight war. No, be positive about it. It's not a war. It's not a do or die affair. As long as you do, I think majority of these things, you come to class early. Don't be late. That's the most. But don't be late, because you don't want to miss 10 minutes of class, because that's a lot you've missed. Don't be late, come early, ask all questions you need. Don't even let anybody bully you, because there's sometimes where some people may be so mad or making comments that why am I asking these questions or too much questions. Man, I keep remembering something. If you paid a lot of money to study a course, then you have to put the same amount of effort in trying to understand it and to pass it eventually. So if I ever want to even like decide I want to play too much and I don't even want to care about medicine, I'm gonna think about the cost again, and that'll make me rethink, whatever things that I want to do, or whatever decision that I will be taking. The points are basically come to class, at least 95% of attendance rate, participate a lot in class, ask questions, answer questions. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends, but it's also helpful to interact. That does not mean like I do not interact or when we have a group thing. No, but it's just that like calling somebody like friends, that's kind of different. But you can have like classmates that you interact and talk about classes and works and do projects even off class. I also teach my colleagues. Like you also meet some of those group of people who do not understand things in class, or they come to you and you help them. Sometimes even if they don't come to you, although but the people I thought they asked me. So but I'm just saying, like even if they didn't ask, it's still something to just talk about it. Another funny thing is when you study something too and the next day you make it into your conversation. Of course all of you are medical students, so it's kind of a joke and everybody's gonna understand that joke. So Make it as part of your vocabulary when you learn something new and implement it in many of your sentences among your colleagues. It will be a fun joke, but it's something that will stick with you because, of course, it shows you read this and you're trying to remember too. That's another thing. And yes, you have to keep studying and studying things over and over again because, like, sometimes you're gonna study things 3 days later you may forget, or sometimes you may not forget at all, so it just depends. And that is why that asking and participating in questions can really help you in that aspect, because when you answer questions more and more and more and more, it's stuck on your mind that you rarely forget, right? I visualize a lot. So you, first of all, you have to know what kind of learner you are. If you're slow or fast, me, I'm basically a fast learner, so it's easier for me to page or many pages within few minutes. But if you're a slow learner, then you know that you need more time to learn one material. So you need to put more time into it. But again, that is why this strategy of asking all the questions you need to know. Don't be shy. I don't want to speak whether for introvert or extrovert, but I'm telling you, just rethink. Just rethink. Let's assume you even took loan. Just rethink how much of that loan you took and how much you're gonna pay back, and don't even think of messing it up. And maybe that will make you want to even ask that question and remove shyness out the door. It's not like we don't have shame sometimes or we're not shy sometimes, but who is shyness helping? Who is being shy help you? Like, whoever you even shy for don't even care that you exist in that planet or in that class. So just do whatever you want to do. And yeah, be respectful about everything. No, some people may be so overly sensitive that you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, but don't let nobody bully you, and continue to do what is right for you. Nobody's saying you cannot hang out or go for social events, but I'm saying for me, I think I barely, in the beginning maybe I did, but I barely, I really barely go for social events. So you just learn what you can do on your priorities. I think it's more of because I didn't care about it or I didn't like it, or I don't know. I do not know, but it's not a thing of whether you go for social events it will inevitably make you fail, but you have to like limit how many you go to, because imagine if you're spending all those time going out for social events, how much time will be left to study your material? Remember, and one thing for sure that I do is most times things that I'm in class I make sure I really understanding. Some people really want to go research more. It's good to learn more, research more, and have more information about those things, but at that point for medical exam in your school, that may necessarily not help you because you're getting some, because some information you see outside may be different from what your professors taught you, and you have like some conflicts or confusion there. It's not like it's not almost the same thing, but maybe they taught it in different manner and those things, and your professor might tell you this is wrong or this. That's why I always advise like to go with your professors. And when you're preparing for an external exam, then all those external researches are important than that. But if it's just school exam, I'm not saying school exam are not important, because they also follow these external exam guidelines. One thing you can do for the external exam guidelines is actually do more MCQs or question banks from all these big resources from UWorld. During my time I didn't even do more of MBME like that. It was maybe during the final stage of school, when I was like more preparing for comprehensive examination, that I focused more on MBME. But in the earlier stage, I think I did some of UWorld, pre-test, BRS. I mean, those are the things that I knew then. But now there are more and more things out there that you can focus on. Sketchy Micro 3 is good. It's just that I used it for sometimes. I didn't even really use it a lot, but I think Sketchy Micro can be helpful, and they have Sketchy Farm, but I didn't get to use Sketchy Farm during my time. But after, when I like checked it, it's kind of okay. But it's just because I understood my professor, so I didn't need an outside help. So, because I'm saying sometimes you may need that outside help if you try everything and you still do not understand. So go for the outside help, but make sure try as much as possible to get all you can from your professors first. And even if you try something outside, always correlate it with them and always tell them about it, that I read this, I read that. Is this good information and things like that? It will help you focus on what you need to focus on more than, because that time you spend researching outside things that may not come out or reflect in your exam. You could be studying more things, because you always have more things to study in medical school. many subject areas, things you have to do, many deadlines approaching, tests. You have tests almost every day, sometimes every week, and homeworks, assignments, projects. See, you need time for all those things. You set aside time for all these things. So it's better you put your time and effort in the most important things. I think that's it. Just set your priorities, participate a lot, and study bit by bit. This is not a video that will basically explain theories. I didn't even understand like theories of studying and anything even when I was doing medical school, but I just understood me. Just know who you are, what kind of reader you are, what kind of student you are, and how you understand things better. And I think start from there, and that will help you survive medical school. And I think this tactic could be used like even studying any kind of subject. I use it anywhere, but as time goes on, you learn how to study things by yourself, because it works more like that in medical school. But I mean, if you're a doctor already, of course people expect you to research things a lot, I mean, before they say it to you. So that would be a different ball game. But for medical school, I mean, nobody, no teacher, no professor will criticize you for not knowing. Not even after finishing, nobody will criticize you. But I mean, now you're really a doctor and you have lives to save. So of course you want to do your own research before anything else. And then ask more questions about it. So that's it for this video. I hope it's helpful, and tell me your experience. If you're in medical school right now, tell me your experience. And if you're going to go to medical school, good luck to you and more power to you. It's not easy, but you just have to prepare for it and have the positive mindset and have the right kind of mindset. Don't listen to outside opinions saying this is too difficult. At the end of the day, your mind is more powerful than anything else, and you will make it through. Just be focused on what you can do to make things better. Bye. Today it's another. So how's the dating outside your race?